Hello everyone, this is another devlog. I have come much further with Heroes of Taboo, and I've done quite a few things. So I don't remember much from last time that I did a devlog, but I'll go over some quick details. We've done a complete engine wipe, well not wipe, but revamp, and we now have quite a few new systems added in. We went from spaghetti code to using ECS, and I'm going to turn that down. There you go. Which basically just makes the code a lot more organized. We've added a dual equip system, so we can now dual wield weapons, and we also added bows to be used. And we've added some stats. Now I forgot if stats was in the last devlog or not. But it looks like I'm about to die, so let's see. No stats, so we're gonna go ahead and use a potion. Now, with the new attack types, we have range and melee and stuff like that. We don't have currently any magic types right now for player themselves, but we do have some magical monsters that will attack you, but you'll see them much later on. Currently, we are testing the dungeon types, so right now we're technically in a goblin den, and this is only one type of dungeon that'll spawn in the first areas, and the goblin den is that one type right now. That's why I kind of know what it is. And you'll also probably notice that they are kind of everywhere. The one thing I was trying to work on was making it so that when you have like a line of melee monsters coming at you, they try to flank you, but it seems that that's not working right now. One other thing that will change is that they will use equipment that they're equipped with, which if you notice, some of them are dropping like bows and stuff. I'm trying to get that to work too, but not too working right this second. But it'll be something that'll be out when I get it done. Other things I have done is rebalance quite a bit of how the level system works. Well, not the level system, but the scaling of everything works. So as you can tell, I have a lot of bows and stuff like that. That is something I want to like change really. But speaking of equipment, we have now more dexterity added onto leather equipment, which increases your bow effectiveness basically and your ability to dodge, which is quite useful, I would definitely say. I will more than likely remove the base defense removal because on armor it really scales very quickly. Also, if you notice, the combat log is now gone. You now just see floating damage, which was a recommendation from one of my playtesters. And I say one of them because I only have one who's been really talking to me, but fortunately he's a good friend of mine, so yeah. We've been coming up with different ways to improve the game, basically. And we level up again. So we're going to go ahead and increase our dex and our con a bit. So some systems that are in that may have been different from last time. Magic should increase your healing capability. I believe so. I may need to double check that with the APIs. Documentation has been added throughout the code. And one other thing players will notice is we now have a map system. The stairs will show up as yellow on the map, and the escape teleport will be a green square with an E. And I don't remember seeing the log go off saying that we defeated everything on the map, so that's something I gotta look at. Now we did add a funny little gimmick with our shield. If you notice the one I just picked up. See if I can find it again. Yes, this one. It looks a little bit like a dice, so we ended up adding luck to it. Just something that we thought was funny. as I'm looking at this playtest here, it looks like I am definitely gonna have to do something about the bows dropping all the time. Might be just equipping like a whole lot of bows to all the goblins. Anywho's, if you notice, you can also melee still. If you just walk into the monster instead of shooting them, you can use your attack button to shoot them or walk into them just to straight up just melee. So here, I just shot, and there's an inventory full system. If you inspect, you can see what's inside, which I need to fix that wood wrapping. But yeah, let's do that. There we go. Inspect is the Q button, and this also works on monsters too, so you can see what level they are and jazz like that. We'll inspect monsters here soon. There we go. And there you go. Oh, some monsters now actually have names, such as Shrek here. And we're gonna go ahead and shoot him a couple times. And now it just showed up that the floor is full, along with inventory is full. So we're gonna go ahead and start emptying our inventory. Now, one thing you may have noticed from previous editions, if you did play, there was a break in the scrolling when you scrolled back up with the inventory. That was fixed, as you can tell here. We're gonna go ahead and start dropping a whole lot of stuff that we are not gonna be using. And I just do that. Oops. And there we go. And as you can tell, it lists all the things off. I think I need to remove like some of that text and kind of scale it, make it go down further below the information on the item, which is simple to do. And it looks like this guy has quite a bit more armor. Either that, or I currently do not have a weapon. No, I do. Yeah, he just had quite a bit more armor. Okay. But the goblin dens will have much lower tier stuff, and why am I not attacking? Was his dexterity just that high? Monsters do get stats like you, so they can generally get more dodge capability and attack power, so do take into account for that whenever you attack something. One thing that was also fixed later on, and I'm trying to get so I can find the stairs so I can show you guys later. Now, here we go. The later levels have lost, I believe, the ability to spawn goblins, so they're more dungeon type specific. The reason why that's a bit more important, we get more of the other monsters that we want to get. So one fix that was done is dragons are now also range attack, but at first they just shot out an arrow like the player did, but I changed that to shoot out a little ball, so it's a powerful projectile that comes at you. And the spore people also now get it too. There was also a shop system added. If you see the gold, the shop is very rare. There's like a 3% chance it'll actually spawn. So, from previous editions, you've seen this guy. He's now dead. Well, okay. I was going to show you that he does magic attacks now. Oh, my dexterity must be so high. Yeah, there you go. So now we're attacking, and there's a slight bug there. If you notice yeah, so there's doing attacks now. See, the dragon now has his own projectile. It technically still does this guy here. Let's move around a little bit until he attacks. There you go. Ooh, like that. But In order to get gold, you sell items you find, just to make it so you can get multiple. Like you have an instinct to get better quality items and get multiple of them to sell them later. There's a couple of items that will let you. I think the range on you is ridiculous. There you go. There's a couple of items that will let you uncap your ability to get higher dexterity. It'll uncap your stats basically. What else do we have right now? I can't think of too much that's happening in this. I'm currently working on changing the layout of rooms in the Goblin Den to make it look more like a Goblin Den instead of just squares. And I'm also working on fixing a projectile bug you notice from the player where when there's other projectile users, it'll take those projectiles instead of just shooting the arrow. That will be changed. I don't know why that's happening. I think it's because it's looping through all the possible projectiles of every single thing that's ranged, and it's just shooting one at random. Kind of a pickle, but I can fix that. I will also be in a later version developing more on the engine and actually creating a separate version of the engine, and releasing it. The engine itself is gonna be a free tool for you guys to use. It's supposed to be a helper to get you started. I say get you started. It's gonna be a C in Raylib engine. It's piggybacking off of Raylib. So if anyone wants to develop for Raylib and they want a bit of a stronger engine with it, just for kicks and giggles, but still have access to Raylib, I'm gonna release an engine. I don't know what to call it, but it will be available to you guys. Now, we are currently on edition 0.0.11. I am skipping releasing some versions because some of them was slightly more bugged and not... Well, to be fair, I've been just releasing versions and they have been not balanced well or bugged out with some features, and I'm trying to get into more of, let me release something that's better to play, if that makes sense. That's why it might feel a bit slower. I am adding a lot, I'm doing a lot, but it's taking time to actually get it to where it's enjoyable, if that makes sense. I don't want you guys to just play only like experimental builds and there's like impossible to win, if that makes sense. I will probably do a few more versions before I release an official again on itch.io and IndieDB, but I want to go ahead and give you guys a log and let you guys know that I am still working on it and we are making progress. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and God bless any of you and all of you. Thank you.